Now, they move on without Chris Jones in attendance at the mandatory minicamp. Andy Reid, the head coach of the team, said this week that general manager Brett Veach and Chris Jones are communicating. Here is Brett Veach talking about the Chris Jones mandatory minicamp boycott as he tries to get a new contract.
We're in constant communication. I'd be shocked if Chris isn't here. I mean, this is his type of party right here. So, but we have great communication. And look, there's a lot of time before camp, so feel good about where we're going to be with Chris, and we'll get to celebrate tonight and have a good time, and then break tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have great dialogue from now to the start of training camp, and look forward to Chris being here and not just for next year, but for a long time.
Do you have a timeline in your head where you feel comfortable getting stuff done?
No, not really. I mean, we have a long history together, and we have a great relationship with his agent. So, these things usually get worked out right during the first start of camp. So, we anticipate the same, and we'll see how it goes.
That's a clean look from Brett Veach. I like the red buttons. The red buttons
nice
on the
touch.
tuck shirt. But I will say this. There is no way that was a hand-tied bow tie. There is no way in hell you can hand-tie a bow tie that perfectly. That's the old, and it's okay. It's like the clip-on straight tie, because I can just tell by looking at it. You can never get it that perfect with a hand-tied bow tie. You can't. You just can't. I don't even know how to tie a freaking bow tie. I've tried. I can't do it. I stick with a regular tie. Also, I kind of look ridiculous with a bow tie. So there's that. But that's a clean look for Veach. And the bottom line is this. Sims and I said this earlier in the week. Mahomes, who's taken less, $45 million a year, but he's taken less and deserves more, he's going to be around for another 10, 15 years and making that kind of money. For Chris Jones, the candle is burning as bright as it's going to burn now. It's going to go out. Now is the time to get your money, because you're not playing until you're 40. Mahomes will. He won't.
Right, exactly. And I think there just seems to be an understanding within the Chiefs that, like, look, this is what's happening right now. Patrick Mahomes said it yesterday. This is business. And they went through a sort of similar situation with Orlando Brown last year when he was playing left tackle. He got hit with the franchise tag. He didn't even get to the team until camp had already started, because he didn't have to be, because he hadn't signed the franchise tender yet. And this is a little bit different, obviously, because Chris Jones is under contract, but he is going into a contract year. It seems like the Chiefs understand that they want to get something done with their defensive leader. He had 15 and a half sacks last year, tied a career high. They want him around. They understand what he means to that team and to the defense. So I think this is one of those things that, yeah, it's business right now, but they're going to get it done at some point between, as Veach was just saying, now and the beginning, or maybe to a couple days into training camp. I don't think that there's going to be some sort of impasse where they can't get something done with somebody who clearly means so much to that team and to that defense in what they do defensively.
They don't win Super Bowl 54 without Chris Jones. He single-handedly freaked out Jimmy Garoppolo during that fourth quarter when the 49ers had the 10-point lead, and they don't get to Super Bowl 57 without Chris Jones, because he's the one who stepped up when it felt inevitable the Bengals were going to drive down the field and win the game with a 3-point field goal and advance to the Super Bowl against the Eagles. Okay, let's hear from Mahomes too, because he's also addressed it. And he's the guy, and this is the mentality they're trying to create in Kansas City. The star's taken less, and I think they hope that attitude trickles down to other players. Here's what the star with the $45 million contract had to say about Chris Jones.
You guys let the business be the business, and players don't talk about this thing. What's the communication like with Chris when maybe he's not in attendance here?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's part of the business. I think Chris knows that we love him here. He's been a part of this team for a long time. He's one of the main reasons that we've had the success that we've had. He's been that leader on the defense. He's made a lot of big plays, and it seems like the biggest moments, and you want those guys on your team. And so, like you said, it's part of the business. It's the off season, even though you're getting better. I'm sure Chris is working, and he knows the defense that he needs to do. And the hope is that everything's good by training camp, and we're able to come in and just roll, and that's just part of it. And that's what makes this team so great is whenever guys like that have to go handle their business, we let them handle it. When they jump back in the building, we get back to right where we left off.
You know, one of the things Patrick Mahomes has realized, and he learned this lesson very clearly last year with Tyreek Hill, he's the guy who's going to be there for the course of the next 10 years, 15 years. Who knows how much longer he's going to play. Everything else is going to change around him.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Every guy that's on the team now will not be on the team when he is still going strong 10 years from now, assuming he'll be 37. I think he'll still be going strong then. So it's going to be, I mean, all of them, except, I don't know, maybe there's some young guy on the roster who somehow makes it 10 years, but most of that roster is going to be turned over. And he understands that. This is the way it's going to work. You're going to be the constant, and the pieces around you are going to change. And you have to view these seasons as 1 year at a time, self-contained realities, and there's always going to be change. Juju Smith-Schuster, gone. Orlando Brown, gone. There's going to be guys gone every year that you become friends with, that you have affection for. They're going to be gone. That's just how the business of football works, and he gets it. Chris Jones is going to be gone at some point, but for now they need him. They need to get this worked out. They need him while he's still playing at a high level, and he's capable of dominating an opposing offense and making it easier for the Chiefs to win games.
No doubt. And I think that you're right about Mahomes' realization of that, and it is something that he's talked about. But, I think when you look at that defense in particular, you need somebody like Chris Jones because you don't have other veterans that used to be there, right? Frank Clark is gone. Juan Thornhill is gone. And so when you don't have those guys and you have some young dudes on the defensive line at defensive end, you need that guy in the middle who can solidify everything for you. So I don't think that there's any doubt that the Chiefs don't understand exactly what Chris Jones means to that defense, right? And I think if there were, then it would be maybe we were hearing trade rumors about him. We haven't really done that, I haven't heard that, right? So there's, I think, this sort of tacit understanding that, like, right now, it's business. It is what it is. He wasn't there. It's mini camp. This is the same defense that they've been running for years and years under Steve Spagnuolo as coordinator. So it's not that big of a deal that he's not there right now. It becomes a bigger deal if it drags on into training camp. And that's the reality, right? Once you are in training camp, it's okay. We are nose to the grindstone and we're digging things out here because we need to be prepared for the start of the regular season. So that's where, if this does drag into that, then I think that's where it's time to start being concerned.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.